Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. This thing is heading only one way, and it's heading that way very quickly. Alabama and LSU, Texas A&M and Tennessee have canceled this weekend's games, and as of now in the NFL, Baker Mayfield and Ben Roethlisberger are still on the COVID protocol. I repeat, this thing is going only one way, and I think we all know what that is. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive season. And of course, we are powered by cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot is here. That must mean it's Tuesday night. Hey, Mary Kay.
Hey, Les, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Okay, lots going on today. And first, did you finish your surgery on Odell Beckham?
Yes, it was a very successful surgery, as most of them are. So yeah, he underwent torn ACL surgery today, and he's expected back for next season.
Now, you don't want to see it happen to Odell or anybody that we know, but wouldn't you like to hear them say, "And the surgery was not successful"?
You know what, Les? I've only had one of those in my whole entire career, and it was kind of an accident. I actually got a hold of an agent, and I was asking him about Tony Jones, the former Browns offensive lineman who had to undergo a surgery, and the agent thought that he was talking to a fellow employee of his named Mary Kay, and he said, "Oh, it did not go well. Tony died on the operating table and had to be revived." And I was like, wow. I mean, I couldn't believe he was telling me this, and I wrote that. I wrote the story. Because it wasn't off the record or anything like that. We were just having an on the record conversation. Well, as it turns out, he thought he was talking to a fellow employee of his agency, and I just figured we were having an on the record conversation.
Wow.
So in my almost 30 years of covering the Browns, I've only had one unsuccessful surgery where the player actually died on the operating table and had to be revived.
Wow. That's unbelievable. Was that the Tony Jones that was hit in the eye by the referee?
No, that was Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown.
Was hit in the eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 216-575-0403 is the number to call, and you can email us during the show at realeslevine@gmail.com. All right, let's start right with the news on Odell Beckham. What is it? Okay, all right. Apparently you weren't able to hear me. Let's start at the beginning with Odell Beckham Jr. and let us know where that stands.
Okay, so Odell underwent his surgery today, and it was to repair his torn ACL that was suffered during the Cincinnati Bengals game. He's expected to make a full recovery. Back in the day, back when Tony Jones was having surgeries, although his wasn't an ACL, but back then, 10, 20 years ago, when you had a torn ACL, it was catastrophic, and you didn't know if the player was going to be coming back and if they were going to be their usual self. But that's not the case anymore. Guys come back from torn ACLs. They come back strong, and they come back and they have tremendous careers. I mean, Nick Chubb had a completely torn up knee, and he's come back and done a phenomenal job. And Adrian Peterson, in the year that he came back from his torn ACL, like 9 months later, he rushed for over 2,000 yards, and he won the rushing title that year. So Odell should make a full recovery, and he's expected to be fine.
There's nothing good about this, but if you're looking for something good out of it, it's not a case where they've said 8 to 10 weeks or 12 to 14 weeks, and everybody's counting down, because they don't. That's really an educated guess as to how long it's going to be. And if the season is over, it doesn't. You don't have to stick to those numbers exactly, and gives him more time to recuperate. So from that standpoint, he's got more time.
Yeah, you know what? A torn ACL these days is generally a 9-month to 12-month injury, depending on the situation. Guys have generally now been coming back in 9 to 10 months. So he might not be 100% when training camp opens in August, which is about 9 or 10 months away. He might not be 100% on day one, but he should be ready for the start of the season, and that's great news for the Browns.
You know, being the wordsmith that you are, as you brought up a couple of weeks ago, I'm surprised you haven't noticed that the injured guy's coming back. Nick Chubb with back-to-back B's in his name, Austin Hooper back-to-back O's, and Wyatt Teller back-to-back T's as well as L's. Now get on that and see how many others we have.
That's very interesting. There might be something to that. We will have to look at that from an analytics standpoint and determine how that will
Analytics,
impact
everything's analytics.
Yep.
I guess it is. Even writing columns these days. All right, so Chubb will play, we think, and Hooper and Teller should be in action also. However, the quarterback situation, you got it in Cleveland, you got it in Pittsburgh. Where does it stand now, or have it? Do they wait for a test tomorrow on Baker?
Well, the good thing is that Baker Mayfield never tested positive. What happened is that he came in contact with a staff member who did test positive. So he has not had, he's been negative. They get tested every single day. And the expectation is that he'll be negative again tomorrow and that he will show up and he'll be on the practice field tomorrow, and it will be business as usual, and he will start the game against the Texans.
What is some staff member doing if he's tested positive already? Why is he out there with the players?
Well, you don't know that you don't test positive and then you're with the players. You're with the players and then you test positive.
Okay, we know that.
They would never expose somebody who's test positive knowingly to anybody else in the organization. It's just sometimes you're with them on Friday and then you get a positive test on Saturday.
Right.
So
Am I being paranoid about this? But this being the off week, and when especially with the new coach, they'll try out things that they wanted to try out all season. And unfortunately, the keystone of this operation is Baker Mayfield, and he couldn't take part in that. Is that something else to worry about in addition to all the other things a new coach had to undergo?
Well, when you look at the Baker Mayfield situation of this week, the only thing he's really missed was the bonus practice on Monday. And the only reason why they had a padded practice on Monday is because they were coming off the bye week. Normally, Monday is kind of like a walkthrough or an off the field day for players where you do meetings and you go over the film and things like that. But they did get in full pads and do a practice on Monday as a bonus in preparation for the Texans. So that's the only thing that Baker missed. Case Keenum took the first team reps for that practice. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. He'll still have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on the field. And then Saturday, they come in and do more of a walkthrough type of thing. But he'll be fine for all of that.
And preparing for him on the other side is Romeo Crennel. Is that something we should be scared about?
Well, Romeo's a great defensive coach. We know that about Romeo, but they just don't have the defense. They don't have the horses that they have had in the past. Even J.J. Watt is not, really what he used to be. I think he only has like 3 sacks or something like that so far this season. So, with all the guys coming back healthy for the Browns, matching up against this very poor Texans defense, I think the Browns will be okay.
And with a new coach in Romeo, because Bill O'Brien was sacked from both jobs.
Yes, absolutely. And so this is an opportunity. Now, the good thing about Romeo in that role is that, of course, he was a head coach of the Cleveland Browns for 4 years. So he's no stranger to, just being in that head chair and knowing what it takes and knowing how to get a football team ready to play a game and knowing how to get ready for a lot of talent on the Cleveland Browns.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, for the beat writer for a long time for the Browns, and also cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine. We'll put up the question in the morning. You respond to it all day long, then we'll play it on the show from 6 till 7:30, and that's Eastern Time. More Sports and Less Levine continues in its 25th consecutive season and powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment with Mary Kay Cabot.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Birthdays for today. Norm Cash, who the Indians had for a couple of weeks before being traded for Steve Demeter. Steve, of course, no longer with us, but he wound up living in Parma or Parma Heights. You got Rocky Road, born in 1947, Isaac Bruce, as well as Kendrick Perkins. Does anybody really remember Kendrick playing for the Cavaliers? Zach Ertz and Teddy Bridgewater, all born on the 10th of November. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. Mary Kay, the Steelers did not play well against Dallas, but they hold on to that undefeated record. Do you think there's any significance in their practice area of trying to get that, or they just want to get out healthy and get into the postseason?
Well, Ben Roethlisberger missed a lot of that football game, so I think that had something to do with it. He was in the locker room with a couple of knee injuries, and that that didn't help matters, and now he's not able to practice all this week because he's on the COVID reserve list as well. And so we'll have to see how things go and how they hold up throughout the second half of the season. As you mentioned earlier, there's so many COVID cases going around. It will be actually quite surprising if there is not some kind of an interruption in the Browns' schedule as we move forward through the second half of the season.
All right, that being said, the NFL the owners apparently have determined that they're making room for an extra playoff game if needed. If they run out of room for the regular games and they have to add to it, they've already established that there will be room. What do you think of that? Makes it easier to get the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, they added a team in each conference to the playoffs in this emergency plan, so that 8 teams in each conference, 8 out of 16, half the teams will make the playoffs. So and there won't be a bye, and they will just all play each other, and they'll be seeded. So yeah, it's an interesting plan. It's an interesting concept, and this is just one of those seasons where you have to do what you have to do to get through it. So they're being proactive in knowing that there's cases are surging all across the country. and that they might have to go to Plan B.
Yeah, let's take a look at Plan B as far as the AFC playoff standings are concerned. As if it was to end right now, you got Pittsburgh at 8-0. The Chiefs don't seem, for some reason, they don't seem like they're playing that great, but they're 8-1. That's pretty good. Buffalo Bills with a big win over the weekend, 7-2. The Titans, Ravens, Raiders, Dolphins, Browns, and Colts. And of course, the Browns had the advantage over the Colts if there's a tie, but you don't know what that'll do to the rest of the list above them. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. How about Bill Belichick in New England last night? They keep doing stuff to surprise you.
It was funny because I conked out watching that game. I fell asleep for a little bit when it was 27-17, I think it was, and then I woke up, and it was a 30-27 Patriots victory, and I had to look twice. I was like, "What? How did that happen?" So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But it was funny to watch Joe Flacco out there throwing touchdowns to Brashard Perriman, the former Browns receiver. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe that game's not going to be just a walk in the cake, as Butch Davis used to say.
A walk in the cake?
Yeah. Yes.
So I assume you were like 150 million Americans that you fell asleep while they were counting votes the other night.
Exactly.
Yeah, who didn't?
Right.
All right. So what do you think of this field here? You get down to the bottom with 9 teams. If you're going down to 9 teams and you got 4 of them at the 5-3 mark, that'll have to unjumble itself, right?
Yeah, and you know what? When I look at the rest of the way, I mean, I think the Browns still have an excellent chance of making the playoffs. I really do. Of those teams that are bunched up there, I think they're the best of the bunch, and they have such an easy schedule. And as long as they don't stumble through any of these games that they're supposed to win, I mean, my goodness, they're playing the Jaguars, the Jets, the Giants, and then 2 teams that are kind of maybe not as bad as their record indicates, and that's the Texans and the Eagles. But they've got 5 very, very winnable games. And then, even the Titans game, I think, is winnable because their defense is not very good. So, yeah, I think that they still have an excellent chance of making the playoffs.
You know what I think is good about this season? That here we are, week 9 or 9th game coming in, and we're actually talking about them in positive tones. And that's something we haven't done in 20-some years.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, like I said, I think it really, really helps that that they have such an easy schedule this year. They have their second half schedule, at least it was last week, the easiest remaining schedule of anybody in the NFL. If they had to go against the better teams in the NFL, I don't know if we would be saying what we're saying as far as making the playoffs and feeling good about how many victories they're still going to get. I think that we can say it with some conviction because they are sort of playing the bottom feeders of the NFL.
Yeah, and I would say that 10 years from now, if the Browns make the playoff and maybe advance a little bit, and we talk about these as the good old days, nobody's going to say, yeah, but look who you played. That will not be a factor in evaluating this team years down the road.
No, it won't. People will forget about that. I mean, you just don't go strength of schedule when you're talking about a team that has made the postseason, especially one that would snap a 17-year drought.
Ouch.
So, yeah,
that's impossible. That can't be.
It's amazing. That's what happens when you have a lack of continuity. That's what happens when you fire your coach every couple of years and your GM every couple of years, and you bring in new regimes and new players and you blow everything up. I mean, this is what you get.
Absolutely. Northeast Factory Direct, they've got 3 great locations, east, west, and south. The east, of course, in Euclid, west near the airport, and of course Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. NortheastFactoryDirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. Mary Kay Cabot is with us from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. More sports and less Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember,
Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Mary Kay, one thing that has seemed to be the case this year has Myles Garrett seems to be needing some help on the defensive line. This year, he's got 9 sacks. The rest of the defensive line has 6.5. One area that we've been keeping an eye on this year is Olivier Vernon. This year, he's got 15 tackles and just 2 sacks in 6 games. Both of those sacks came in the last game against the Raiders. Now, last year, he underperformed and got only 3.5 sacks. He's missed a couple of games this year. So, one guy that the Browns could potentially look, whether it be for depth or to create a little bit more force on the defensive line, is Takk McKinley. He was just released by the Falcons after they failed to trade him. He was not happy with them. He's proven early in his career that he could possibly make an impact. He got 13.5 sacks in his first 2 seasons, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. But one thing that could be a benefit for the Browns is he's owed just under $900,000 for his contract. He's in his last year. He's hurt right now, but if the Browns could look to him as possibly a little bit of depth, maybe he could add a little bit of help for Myles Garrett on the defensive line. So what do you guys think? Is this someone the Browns should consider adding, if anything else, just for a little bit of depth?
Well,
Yeah,
just for me, when you hear that he's hurt and you're not sure exactly when he's going to be back, you need if you're going to bring somebody in, you need a guy who can come in and play right now and can contribute right now.
Yeah, and you know, he's somebody that I was sort of looking at in terms of a trade possibility, and he did want to be traded, and then when things didn't work out, you know, they just let him go. Now, so he is someone that could get picked up on waivers by another team. If he becomes available and clears waivers, then he's somebody that you could even add that way after that. So, yeah, he's somebody that I think he's worth kicking the tires on. And again, you'd have to look at the injury aspect of it. And you also want to know that, you know, Adrian Claiborne should be healthier in the second half of the season. So if you think that you can get more reps out of Adrian than you would get out of Takk, then I don't know if it's really worth it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of names out there. When you mention them, you say, oh, yeah, they've got them too. But because you almost forgot about them in some ways.
Yeah, there's been a lot of guys that are injured and they haven't been able to make the contribution that I think they will going forward. But you guys mentioned Olivier Vernon. They need more out of Olivier Vernon. He was probably one of the biggest disappointments of the first half of the season. And, you know, they definitely need more production out of him in the second half.
All right, speaking of people who need some help or the Browns need some help, Andrew Sendejo has struggled, to say the least. What do you do? Just stick with him? Do you find somebody to replace him, or just bulk up on other guys at that position? What do you do? First you have to decide if it's for real that he isn't playing well.
Well, he hasn't really been playing all that well, but he was not really supposed to play this large of a role. He's playing this big of a role because Grant Delpit went down and because Ronnie Harrison really wasn't ready yet to completely step right in there. So that's what's going on there. In the second half of the season, you'll see a lot more of Ronnie Harrison, and I think you'll see maybe a little bit more of Sheldrick Redwine and a combination of Carl Joseph, Sendejo, Redwine rolling in there. And yeah, I think that everybody's seeing the same thing. Andrew has struggled, and they will try to take care of that.
Well, when you look at that one stat, 80% of the passes thrown to him have been to his man has been completed. I don't know that I've seen that stat very often.
Yeah, it's not ideal, and it's not really what they hoped for. But again, he was supposed to be a core special teams player this year and a role player at safety. He was pressed into service, and he's played way more snaps than ever intended, and that will change in the second half.
So who's next in line? Next man up, is it Redwine?
Well, I think Redwine is the guy that you will see probably get a few more snaps in the second half that we haven't seen as much of yet. So I don't know how they'll exactly do it, because you could go Ronnie Harrison and Carl Joseph. You could go Ronnie Harrison and Sheldrick Redwine. I think you'll see some combination like that.
All right. Do you expect, if they're going to start somebody else, do you expect it from day one here of the second half?
Yes, I would guess so. I would think so.
Yeah, why bother? They've had enough time to think about it. You either keep them or don't keep them. It's a good time to do one of the two. All right, what's that?
They'll correct it. They're not going to just keep going on. Sometimes you need the bye week so you can go back and make a change like that, and I think that they'll get that corrected in the second half.
216-575-0403 is the number. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, and with the Cleveland Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. Smiley One is the place to go. They're making it easy to invest in new heating and cooling comfort systems without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special that they've got going on now. Special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family and you to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for further details. We'll come on back in a moment with Mary Kay Cabot. More Sports and Les Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This date in sports history, November 10th, 1991, Bernie Kosar throws 308 consecutive passes without an interception. It was an NFL record at the time. That record is now currently held by Aaron Rodgers with 402. I'm kind of surprised Aaron wouldn't have thrown. I mean, he looks so good throwing that thing to the dog in the commercial. You'd think that would never get intercepted. Mary Kay, you have any memory of that consecutive passes without an interception on Bernie?
Yeah, I do have a memory of that. Yes, I do. It was remarkable to be able to do that, to go that long without throwing an interception. So, yes, it's back far in the recesses of my mind, but it's there.
Well, it should be, because you'd get a tip ball, you get, a lineman bats it away, but somehow he avoided all that. Probably because the defensive lineman said, that pass is so slow, my timing isn't right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, by the way, we all have sports memories of early days. One of my earliest memory in basketball was the Boston Celtics back in the Bill Russell, Bob Cousy days. And today we get news that Tommy Heinsohn, at the age of 88, passed away today. And he's only one of two players, Mary Kay, that made the Hall of Fame as a player and as a coach. Lenny Wilkens is the other. And he was also maybe the dirtiest player in the game. I'm saying that lovingly, by the way.
Wow.
But yeah, wow. What can you say but wow? For those in my generation, and not many of us left, but Tommy Heinsohn is a name we remember early on, also a great broadcaster. Houston Texans coming up. Deshaun Watson gets a break to come as quarterback. How's he doing with that break?
Well, you know what? Deshaun Watson is not playing on a good football team this season at all, but he is still a remarkable quarterback. He's still very, very good, and that's why this game is a little bit dangerous, because he's a good quarterback, and he's got a little chip on his shoulder for the Cleveland Browns, because they did pass on him in that 2017 draft, and he was, just not somebody that they really thought too seriously about taking, and I think that he does like to beat them. So he'll come in here with a little bit of extra motivation, a little extra juice, and he's got some weapons, and they have a running game, and so so this defense is going to have to be on point. Even though their only two victories have come against the Jaguars, that's not saying much, but still, Deshaun Watson is a good QB.
No, if we haven't learned anything yet from this year, and we should have learned from other years, just putting a team on the field is going to be good competition. You can't just look at that and say, oh, that's an easy win. Can't do it.
No, you can't do it. And this season, there have been a lot of weeks where a good team gets knocked off by a seemingly bad football team. So it can definitely happen. And, you just almost expect that the Browns are going to lose one of these games that we all think they're going to win. And so, who knows? It could come at any time. I don't think it'll be this week, because they're coming off the bye, and I do think that defense is, just bad enough that I think with Nick Chubb back and Wyatt Teller back and Austin Hooper, that I think the Browns will be totally fine against this defense. But, you just never know. Sometimes it just comes down to the takeaways.
That game you're talking about might have happened last week against Las Vegas. Might have been a game. I know the fans thought it was a win for sure.
Yeah, you know what? But that was a game where I just didn't think that it was a no-brainer that the Browns were going to beat them, because their offense was playing really well. So I didn't think that was a no-brainer. There are some no-brainers that I think that are coming up on the schedule.
Yeah, New York and New York.
Yeah, New York, Jaguars, those kinds of games I really expect the Browns to be able to win without too much trouble. So those are obviously the ones they're going to have to really be on point for.
All right, so the Houston game, they got David Johnson the Browns will have to worry about. What do we need to worry about in that case?
Well, you know what? He's a good runner. He's a good hard runner, and he's got Duke Johnson backing him up. So they've got a nice 1-2 punch. And, speaking of revenge, I'm sure Duke wants to have a nice game again against his former football team. So, and Romeo understands that sort of thing. So, I think they'll probably throw a little bit of Duke as well as David Johnson at the Browns this weekend.
All right, but coming to the rescue for the Browns is the Texans' defense, which is horrible.
It is horrible. You want to talk about pick your poison. You know, they're not stopping the run and they're not stopping the pass. And, you know, they're amongst, you know, as you can see there, they are last in a lot of different things, and they're just not getting the job done. And you just can't win football games that way. So therefore, I would expect that that the Browns offense is going to have, I don't know, a little bit of a coming out party maybe. I think it's going to be, they're probably going to score a significant amount of points, probably in the 30s against this defense.
216-575-0403. If you want to get in for the last segment or two, you could do that right now. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. Browns getting ready to take on Texas. 3 locations for Northeast Factory Direct. Check them out. You're going to save money everywhere, maybe as much as half price when you buy things. Check them out. They have a lowest price guarantee also. And that's at any of the 3 locations, West 140th, Lakeland Boulevard, and Freeway Drive. That's in Macedonia. Mary Kay and I return in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Time for How Come Quickie. Mary Kay, you're the only one I know who can answer this. How come we don't know what the ref is warning us about for the 2-minute warning? Any idea what is he saying? Is he making a threat? Is he saying watch out? What is he warning about the 2 minutes for?
That is a really good question.
One to
the
ponder.
2-minute warning, what would he be saying? I would think that he would be warning you that you only have almost 120 seconds to get done exactly what you need to get done.
And the referee, the player is going to say, hey, we've been playing football all our lives. We know what 2 minutes are.
Yes.
All right, that's your homework assignment. Next week, be prepared.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
What is he saying during the 2-minute warning? You better do this or else. We have a Facebook question of the day. Andy Mees will answer it. What surprised you the most about the Browns this season? And he says, the creativity and trickery on offense under Kevin Stefanski. Going into the season, I was concerned that being a new head coach while calling plays would be too much on his plate, as we've seen with Freddie and Hugh before. Being a rookie head coach with limited interaction with the players in the offseason because of the pandemic, Stefanski has handled everybody like an experienced head coach should. And should the Browns finish the season with a winning record, he definitely should be in the running for the Coach of the Year. Mary Kay, at the halfway point here, do you think he's in the top 3 if they were voting today, Coach of the Year?
You know what? I think they've come back to the pack a little bit. I think that if they were 6-2 at the bye, I think his case would be a lot stronger right now. But he can gain that ground back with 2 consecutive victories here in their home games. They're in the middle of this 3-game homestand right now. If he wins these 2, then I would say that he would be firmly in that discussion.
I'm going to guess that the last thing in the world he cares about is being Coach of the Year.
That's right. That is not what is on his mind right now. Absolutely not. He's definitely very focused on that next game, and he keeps the players doing that same exact thing, putting the blinders on and just taking it 1 week at a time.
Okay, what kind of game do you expect? You said maybe in the 30s for the Browns. What do you think that would put Houston at?
You know, I don't know. Sometimes you expect a high-scoring game, and it doesn't turn out to be quite as high-scoring as you expect. But, you know, weather's not going to be an issue this week. So I would guess that it will be, you know, high 20, you know, something like a 28-24 or, you know, a 31-26 or something like that.
I don't even know. Do you know what the point spread is?
I think it's the Browns by 3.
Could very well be. Mary Kay Cabot with us. She's not giving out that number. We're not forcing her to give out the number. Just looking to see if it's going to be high. However, if you're betting over/under, that might be a different story. By the way, do you know the only 3 hours of bad weather we had in the whole week was the 3 hours during the Las Vegas game?
Yes, it was funny because I texted the writer from Vegas that came in to cover the game, and he wanted to enjoy Cleveland a little bit, and I mean the weather was just horrible. I texted him. It was like, you know, of course it's been 78 and sunny ever since that game, and I said, you know, I was thinking about going to the beach today. He was like, no way. And he just could not believe that, you know, here it was, you know, almost summer again in November.
Okay, we're going to send it away. Come on back one more time with Mary Kay Cabot. More Sports and Les Levine, of course, is sponsored and given to you by our friends at cleveland.com. We also have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you can't reach us during the show and you want to leave us a message 23 other hours of the day, you can do it by calling that number there, 216-200-6650. Leave us a message and we'll get to it sometime in that week. And we'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will join us, and you watch us live from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you can archive it all day, all night, and do that, and take part in it live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This email comes in from Estero, Florida. I believe that's how it's pronounced, and it's from John. John says, the trouble with the Browns is not the offense as much as the defense. Cleveland could always score with anybody, but anybody that they played, They just need to score a little bit more to beat them. You agree with that concept? That defensively they're okay, offensively they're all right, but they got to cut back on one of them?
Well, I think part of the reason why they were able to score some of the points they did in the first half of the season is because the defense continued to take the ball away time and time again in the first half of the season. So I think we forget that. The defense was able to overcome some of their ills in terms of not being able to stop the run or the pass by taking the ball away. So if they can continue to do that in the second half, then I think they'll be okay. But they deserve some credit for those points that were scored in the first half.
Mary Kay, is that coaching to that level where they want to get turnovers, or is it just the way the game is played out?
No, they coach it that way, and I watch it when I watch practice. I watch them really trying to dig that ball out of there, to get those interceptions, to strip the ball out. They spend a lot of time on that, and it has served them well this season, in a season in which they have some deficiencies, obviously, in other areas.
Yeah, I'm thinking of an area just to help your career along a little bit. We already placed you into the into the operating room to help with any surgeries the Browns need. Now I think you need to get the feel of what a Myles Garrett strip sack is all about. Now to hand you the ball by the goal line and see if he, in three swift whatever, if he could get it out of your hands.
I doubt he could. I'm thinking no. I'm pretty sure that I could hold up against that.
Well, way before you and I were born, Danny Coughlin, when he worked for the Cleveland Press, they had him dress up as a high school kid at Parma Valley Forge when he was probably 27 at the time, and they caught him because he was smoking cigarettes in the huddle.
Of course. Like Sonny Jurgensen, right?
Yeah, well, that would have been a shot of something in the locker room and all. All right, as always, you are terrific, and why don't we do this again next week?
Sure,
oh, big doings at the Levine household tonight.
What is that?
You got to bring the garbage cans in. But don't you know that I'm more sports than Les Levine?
You're a good man to do that.
Yeah. All right, well, good thing garbage only comes out once a week. All right, what do you have planned for the week? Anything good besides the football game on Sunday? Hey, by the way, what uniforms are they going to wear? They going to come up with another one?
You know what? Some of us have been saying that we would like to see all white.
That would be nice.
We haven't seen that yet, so I'm not sure if they'll do that or not. I like the fact that they have the orange pants this year. I think that's been
right, and I like with the orange pants and brown shirt. I like the fact that you can see the numbers in the white.
Because the uniforms are great. I think most fans could probably agree that the uniforms have been tremendous. Right. But white on white might be kind of nice. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
All right, Mary Kay Cabot, have a great week.
You too. Thanks a lot.
She's the best. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night. The D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will join us, and we'll see what's on his strange mind tomorrow night. Always something with him, and very enjoyable. All right, that'll do it. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.